It's my life, it's your life, it's our life. It's our life, it's our life. Come on. It's my life, it's your life, it's our life. It's our life, it's our life. You got to make a decision.
Welcome to the Hollatics Live Interactive Podcast. I am Rash, your host. And we do this from every 7:30 to 8:30. Weekday nights. What we do, we Holla-tic. This is an interactive podcast. That means it's me plus you equals the choices we have to make. Party Side 2.0. I am Rash, the chief Hollatician, narrator, orator, and the hardest Negro under 6 feet since Eric Easy E. Wright. Hollatics, y'all check in from around the globe. It's Friday, ninjas. Y'all know how we do it. Hollatic Gabe Robinson is present and accounted for. What's up, Gabe? I know it's Friday, man. It's hard to get my Hollaticians off they spouses. A lot of them got nice spouses at the house. Money right this Friday, paycheck, direct deposit hit at 12 this morning. So they like, man, I don't know, Rad. Might not be Holla-ticking with you tonight. It's all good. Cause guess what? We still gonna be right here. Let's go. If you're just tuning in, it's the Hollatic Live Interactive Podcast. I am Rash, your host, chief Hollatician, narrator, orator. And how did I get that role? I Holla-tic the most. What is a Holla-tic? A person who's not afraid to say whatever they need to say, including about politics. And what is Holla-ticking? It's talking about whatever we feel like talking about, including politics. We don't stay away from none of it, man. We like issues. My life, your life, issues that we have to make, decisions we have to make on a daily basis, man. That is what we cover here on the Hollatic Live Interactive Podcast. Let's go. I normally be showing a video right now, but I ran out of videos. I know y'all tired of looking at my face, man. I ran through all my videos. I could just restart them, but I'm not vain like that. I'm not a vain guy. You know what I mean? Unlike other podcasts, we talk to you. You know, of course, I am an expert. I am a professional. I could sit here and just ramble on for 30 minutes to an hour. But my thoughts, are important to me. Just like your thoughts are important to you. So I like to hear from them. That's why this is an interactive podcast. We streaming on live Facebook, my personal page, also the Castnet page. Also, we streaming live on Twitch, Twitter via Parameter, as well as YouTube. Hollatics Live. I need y'all to go to YouTube, check in, of course, so we can get things rolling over there, man. Normally when I ask, people do it, and so it's good, man. I am excited about that. We're not picking up astronomical numbers, but YouTube is overcrowded right now, so it's really hard to get YouTube subscribers. And really, if we be honest, like Dave Chappelle say, subscribers, they matter, but they don't, man. What matter is views. And so, again, this is actually an audio podcast. I do the video part just because it's cool, man. Everybody like going live on video, so I do that as well. But this is an audio podcast, so I try to hit all angles, man. I try to hit YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, any place, I can. I take snippets from the show, clips, and upload them to IG, because IG won't let you stream, with programs. And so, it's all good, man. We are Holla-ticking every night from 7:30 to 8:30. It's the Holla-tic Live Interactive Podcast, Holla-tics. I need y'all to weigh in tonight. We're getting ready to get into some news, man, but I'm kind of just utilizing my new setup here. My new cockpit, as I like to call it, man, And some of y'all didn't know, but how many of y'all knew about Tab, man? I hadn't seen a can of Tab in I must have been a kid. I had no idea that it was still being manufactured and distributed by Coca-Cola. But some news came down the pipeline a few weeks ago that Coca-Cola would discontinue the product, distribution as well as manufacturing. So I know if you wasn't born in the 80s or earlier, you probably don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. But I remember Tab well, because of the pink can, actually. It was a diet soda, but it was in a pink can. So when you're a kid, these colors always make you feel like soda gonna taste different. Even though it was cola, I'm like, it's in a pink can. And then you get that little nasty aftertaste that they used to have in diet sodas, right? Technology hadn't got to the point to where the sweeteners that they use taste more like real sugar. Back then, you could flat out taste when a soda was diet, man. So I had no idea that Tab was still being manufactured, but it is now discontinued. And so, this is not news. This is actually, Coke spoke about this weeks ago, actually. So I thought it was fun to say, because I did post this, I posted Tab picture on my Instagram. I think somebody was like, oh, that must be a joke. I was like, nah, man, they discontinuing Tab. And that was probably all the conversation I got out of that, though. So it's probably somebody who's 85, 100, 120, 130 pounds at the house, my age, saying, yeah, bro, I know that's hard on me right now, If you in Generation Z, the millennials, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. And it ain't important, right? Maybe the Coke, but it couldn't have been too important to them because it's discontinued. So just some worthless facts. Tab, the diet soda made and distributed by Coca-Cola, is no more. I know Hollatics. I know. Anyway, let's get some news going here, man. In the news today, that is Hollatic Gabe say checking in. What's up, Gabe? In the news today, Trump law firm withdraws from the Pennsylvania case, challenging the election. Without Pennsylvania, it's over. Again, we picked the president 2 weeks ago. It came down to the wire. I really believe Joe Biden had the opportunity to wake up that Democratic monster, so it worked in his behalf. He is now our president-elect, waiting for Trump to finish packing them boxes up and get him out of the White House. But of course, Trump wouldn't go out without boxing gloves, and I don't blame him. People making fun, they taking shots at him, the memes all on social sites. But hey, this is the highest office in the country, in the world, some may even say. So, and he did, by popular vote, he lost by like 4 million, maybe a little bit over 4 million. So half the country was rolling with the dude, myself included. I do not hold punches on who I supported. I did support Trump because of where I'm at. I'm in a Republican state, and Republican policies just help me and my neighbors more. So, but my guy lost, and I never thought the election was under fraud. I never thought it was illegal or Biden got the presidency by, tactics. I really felt like it was a fair election. I felt like Biden would come off on top, and that is pretty much what happened. So Trump didn't want to get out of there, and Pennsylvania was his last fortress, man. You know, because it held 20 electoral votes, so he couldn't win without it. And today, his law firm, you know, they dropped the case. So the boxes, you know how when your coworker get fired and you see them with the boxes, you see somebody walking out of the office building with the boxes, you know what it's time for. You know, take them for a drink, take them for lunch, keep in touch with them. You might be able to be a reference to them or something like that. Well, the boxes is being stacked up outside of the Oval Office right now. So he couldn't hold it down in Pennsylvania, so it's over for him, right? That was 20 delegate votes there, man. So y'all really shocked, but I'm really not. Like Kanye West would say, right? I'm not shocked. You know, I felt like Biden would take the presidency. Of course, we was right. As you as Holla-tics will see so many times that we discuss stuff here, and you will later find out that, hey, he's right. It's not that I'm right. It's we right. We are Holla-tic Nation, and yes, we are right. So, Holla-tics, y'all check in. Gabe say, like you said, he woke up the Democratic monster and the voters coming out to vote. That is real, Gabe. If Dems come out like that on every election, we would I ain't gonna say we, I mean Republicans would never win. I'm not a Republican, I am a independent. A lot of times I come down on Republican policies because of where I'm at. If my state ever go blue, then my vote switches though. I can't say I'm always voting Republican, even though my state is Republican and we benefit from Republican policies here. I did vote for Obama on both terms because I felt like his president administration was very inspirational. I did more than vote. I actually went back to school and finished my degree. You know, I got a degree in political science because I felt like the world was changing when Obama won. And it is, as we can see. It's steady changing, it's steady evoluting. And then you had the Donald and Hillary. I didn't vote in that election. I admit it. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I am ashamed of myself. I should be a better American, but I didn't vote. I didn't like the choices. I was not rolling with Trump on the first election, but he got in office. And despite all the drama, all of the soap opera, the civil unrest, his failure to speak and unite the nation, you know, I watched his policies. I think a little different than most people. Maybe more Holla-tics think like me, and we just never had the time to link up and compare notes. But I think a lot different than most people. When I walk up to a situation and I see 5 people ragging on one dude, oh, look at this dude, look at his shoes, look at his hair, look at his face, look at his, I'm not one that just join in. Oh yeah, dude, you see it? Did you see the back of his shoes? He was walking. I'm not the guy that join in. I actually observe and see, do he deserve all of what he getting? And even if he do deserve it, you know, because I'm a Bible thumper and I just been trained to be merciful and gracious. You know, when the Trump presidency took off and, you know, people began to, rag on him a little bit, I had to step back and see, did he deserve all of it? Now, again, I'm an equities trader as well. So the stock market shot off. The first 3 months before COVID, it was breaking records. So I was loving the guy at the time. I'm like, people talking trash, but shoot, we eating in the market. But of course, COVID-19 came and more corruption, for as racial corruption began to surface, and he didn't handle it well. And it caused more people to be against him. And so, so it goes, man. Again, he did not lose by much on the popular vote side, but he didn't lock down the areas he needed to. And now, after January 21st, we will now be saying President Biden. I had no problems with that. So Trump had to pack bags and get out of Pennsylvania. And that's pretty much going to be a wrap for any voter fraud allegations that could get him the seat back. He still could probably tie up some of this crap in court if he finds voter frauds. But without Pennsylvania, there was no way he could keep the office. So good luck on your next endeavor, Mr. Trump. Also in the news, IPO alert. DoorDash going public before the year's end. The company with 49% of meals delivered sales in September will join rivals Grubhub and Uber in the public market. But compared to Uber's 22% and Grubhub's 20% market shares, DoorDash is the dominant player. So here it is, DoorDash is going public. And again, if y'all follow, the Holla-tics money, we normally talk about money right now. I throw in some other news. I also take suggestions on news. But if you follow the Hollatics money talk, we talk a lot about stock. And I actually disclose some of the stuff that I'm holding. As you can see at the bottom, when it says stocks to watch, I am a holder of all three of those stocks. Now, the two before UCO or biotech. Biotech is on fire right now because of COVID-19 vaccines are being unleashed on the world. Pfizer, which is PFE, the ticker symbol at the bottom, was the first person to cross the finish line, accompanied by Biotech, a Germany company. They were the first to get a vaccine completed and ready. So they stand to make about $13 billion. I think they are releasing about 100 million shots here in the U.S. before the end of this year. I seen some really scary news. Trump saying that the vaccine will be distributed in April. I thought it would be faster than that. Again, he will be out of the office in January. I'm not sure if he the one that can make that call. I think that is something they probably need to talk to President-elect Joe Biden about. However, seen some scary news with Biden. None of this stuff I'm reporting, but it's just stuff I read. I don't always report what I read. But, there are suggestions that we may need to go on another nationwide lockdown. Today, we broke records with 150,000 cases, positive cases, and about 900 and something deaths, about 1,000 deaths nationally. So there's been talk about another lockdown. I don't know how we can afford that, man. The nation is already crippled. We didn't get the second stimulus. I'm not sure if we can afford another lockdown, but we're America. We can survive anything. So back to the news, though. DoorDash, an IPO for you to keep your eye open. They're very popular when it comes to delivering meals. My son, who's actually a college student in San Antonio, he goes to Incarnate Word. And to keep from sitting on his knuckles and gaming 24/7, he took a job door dashing. So it's definitely an IPO I'm gonna keep my eyes on. I'm already invested. You got my flesh and blood working for you, so I may join the IPO if it don't come out too high. It's supposed to be a hot IPO. It's gonna come out on fire. Now, a word to the wise investors. Normally when you go in on an IPO, it's real hot, it's on fire, and then shortly after the hype, it drops. So I don't suggest a buy and hold for DoorDash once the IPO is birthed. Definitely gonna keep my eyes on it too. That's right. I think that's you, Gabe. Yeah, it's one to watch, man. If you go in on the first day or two, I would watch it. I probably would even trade it. If you don't know the difference between investing and trading, they two different things. You know, I wrote a whole book, not a long book, but a 20-page book that I'm willing to offer anybody who wants it. And I go into that about investing versus trading. If I tell you, hey, I invest in stock or I buy and sell stock, you would automatically feel like, oh, he invests in stock or he's an investor. But the truth is there are two different things. Traders trade, investors vest. What's the difference? It's the time which you hold a stock. Traders trade. They don't care what a company do. If I can buy it today at $3 and trade it tomorrow for 10, that's what I do. Where investors are pretty much people that say, man, I think this is going to be valuable 5, 10, maybe even 20 years down the line. So I'm going to buy a whole bunch of it and just hold on to it until it becomes, until it get to that strike price, that right price. I feel like anything you make at least 20% on is a good deal. You know, in business, when you wholesale or buy something, it's good to make 3 or 4 times what you spent on it. You know, that's good. But I heard somebody say this: you can never go broke taking profit. So I feel like 20% is a good, if you invest in something and you get a minimum of 20% out of it, then that's good. So often when I trade, I like to swing trade. I don't like to hold things longer than 2 weeks when I'm trading. I do have stock I invest in that I keep for the long hold, but when I'm trading, I don't like to hold anything longer than 2 weeks. And so that 20%. Or that third of a value is the benchmark I'm looking for. If something ain't making me money within the first week, I'm really looking for an exit. It's so many stocks out there that you can win on. So much go on in the market. So, that is the difference between investing and trading, buying and holding. So if you plan on jumping in on the DoorDash IPO, watch it for the first 2 days because I think it's going to come in hot. Coming in hot, like the Lecrae song, but it could dip after that because you have a lot of, day traders. These are people that buy and sell the same day. They're looking for profit the same day. I did a little bit of that. I was not great at it, but I do understand the concept and I can do it if I need to, but if you go in on DoorDash, it's going to get ate up by day traders at first, speculators, which is what we are, But at the same time, people, if I buy something at $1 and then I look up tomorrow and it's selling at $9, of course, I'm going to dump it. I'm going to give it to you and take my $8 profit. So you got to kind of watch all that at the beginning of an IPO and see where it kind of settle. How do you know when it's settled, Raz? There's also indicators that you can use in stocks: relative strength, volume, distribution, accumulative distribution, all kinds of little studies you can do, man. I love this stuff. That's all I do is talk about what's going on with power, not just politics, but power. Politics is the headquarters of power. So I pretty much watch money and politics all day and look for opportunities to enjoy my life and my wife, man. So that is my spillage today for us in the news. Holla-tics, y'all weigh in. It's the Holla-tic Live Interactive Podcast. I am Raz, your host, Cheap Politician. And tonight in the news, of course, Donald Trump law firm has pulled out of Pennsylvania. They say there's no need for us to continue here. There's no fraud. Without Pennsylvania, there goes Trump's hopes. So all those who were still believing that he had a shot, the blood is in the water. The writing is on the wall. The voluptuous lady, the BBW, is singing. I don't want to call her fat. Sometimes big women have it going on. So I ain't gonna call them fat, but she's singing if you thought Trump had an opportunity. Also in the news, DoorDash, the IPO is due before the end of the year. They're going public, and when it comes to people delivering food, they are the number one. So the IPO is said to gon' come in hot. It's said to gon' come in hot. You heard that right. So coming in hot is the IPO DoorDash. Also stocks to watch. PACB, Pfizer, PFE. Both of those companies are biotech. Pacific is the first one, Pfizer the second one, and UCO, which is energy. So it could be rough, but UCO seems to be doing good. I don't know if there's gonna be an energy rally, but guess what, y'all? I live in Houston, Texas. If there is to be an energy rally, I feel like I should be one of the first people to benefit from it. What y'all think? Hollatics, y'all weigh in tonight, man. It's the Hollatic live interactive podcast. You plus me, no bars and stars here. We make choices, man. This is Poli-Sci 2.0. We bring in the stuff that you see I'm talking about in the news. I put that stuff right on your doorstep. I show you how it affects you. We all cynical when it comes to policies and politics, and this dude voting for that person and this person saying this person cheated. We all make fun and talk about this crap in the barbershop, but hanging out here, I bring it right here. I bring it right to your doorstep because that stuff affects you. You know, I don't like people having control over my life. And I know I can't control everything, but I don't like people controlling my life when I have an opportunity to control it myself. So that's why Political Science 2.0, Poli-Sci, Hollatics, we put that stuff right at your doorstep. We show you how it's going to affect you and what you can do about it. Hollatics, y'all weigh in. Gabe say definitely a benefit from that, huh? That's what's up, Gabe. Hollatics, y'all weigh in tonight, man. We getting ready to go to the floor, of course. I'm pretty sure y'all gonna find the floor subject interesting, so I will see y'all on the other side. Welcome to the Hollatics live floor. This is where it go down. This is where I need you to get your Instagram fingers, your Facebook fingers, your Twitter fingers, your IG, Instagram, I already said that, your Twitch fingers, your Snapchat fingers, your TikTok fingers, your WhatsApp fingers. What's that little with the blue little message? We don't use that much, man. Whatever you choose to use when you write your most passionate, heartfelt messages. That's all that's allowed here on the floor. We don't play on the floor. We mean business when we come here to the floor, man. We talk about the stuff that affect you the most. And tonight on the floor is the male's rattle, the men's role in society, rather. The men's role in society is the topic for tonight. And the subject we getting ready to drop. So Hollatics, I want y'all to loosen up. That's a picture FDR you seeing right there. Just like that music. I like people when they gangster about what they do. FDR was gangster about his presidency. A lot of the underground passageways in New York, they was built for FDR because he didn't like people to see him his disease that weakened his legs, so he would take different routes to places so he couldn't be caught. A lot of times he stood up and made speeches. You know, he put the braces on. He didn't let people see him in his chair. He felt like that was a sign of weakness. Of course, today we've changed about that. Our governor here, Greg Abbott, is you know, he's in a wheelchair as well. So we don't feel the same way about the way they felt when FDR was rolling, but FDR was gangster to me, man. So that is why I got a picture up to him. Coming to the floor tonight. Hollatics 42, men's role in society. Kamala Harris's days from being vice president, setting a new precedent for women. Women roles are changing from traditional to fit the modern day lifestyle. Women roles are changing from traditional to fit the modern day lifestyle. Are women catching up, or are they leading the new frontier? And should men follow, if the latter? As men who embrace the female role, how should we respond to it? Should we compete and compare, co-lead and share the role? And will the women reciprocate or press harder for more? See, I wanted to talk about this type of stuff on Fridays, man. I like dealing with men and women stuff on Fridays, man. So that is why this is on the floor. But I can't play on the floor. I can't bring subjects to play with you on the floor. We got to be serious when we hit the floor, right? So tonight on the floor, if you're just tuning in, this is the Hollatics Live Interactive Podcast. I am Raz, your host, chief politician, narrator, orator, and the hardest Negro under 6 feet since Eric Easy E. Wright, the West Coast gangster. Tonight on the floor, Hollatics 42, men's role in society. Kamala Harris's days from being vice president, setting a new precedent for women. Women roles are changing from traditional to fit the modern day livelihood. Are women catching up, or are they leading the new frontier? And if they lead, should men follow? As men who embraced the new female roles, how should we respond to it? Should we compete and compare? Should we co-lead and share the role? And if so, will women reciprocate, or will they press hard? I want more. I want more. Hollatics, y'all weigh in tonight. I'm not going to take it easy on you because it's Friday. Men's role in society. Now let's digress. Let's rip this apart piece by piece. Because I'm not only just the narrator, orator, but I'm also a Hollatic. So I have to weigh in on this as well. Of course, Kamala Harris's victory on the ticket with President Joe Biden, I personally believe, Biden is a good guy. I'm not saying anything negative about my president now. However, I do believe his choice of a VP is what sealed his victory, if I can say that. And I can say that. It's my show. I believe his choice of a VP is what sealed his victory. So, it's a new frontier for women. It is a new frontier for women. And this is what I need to know tonight. Are they leading, or are they catching up? Of course, a lot of men, like the traditional style woman. I'm older, so it is what it is with me. Michelle said that's what he get talking about Trump, huh? We need another lockdown, Raz. This is Michelle weighing in on the news. I didn't see you there earlier, Michelle. We need another lockdown, huh? I don't know, Michelle. I'm going to stray away from the topic to get, I don't know, Michelle. I mean, can we afford that economically? Let me just put that in your mind, man. Can we afford another lockdown? I don't want to stray from the topic, but I had to address that, Michelle. Think about that for a minute. But tonight on the floor, we in the male's role in society, man. Kamala Harris, to me, was the champion of the Joe Biden's campaign. I think had he not chosen her as a running mate, if he had a victory, it probably would look a whole lot different than now. So women roles are changing. Kamala Harris, much like Barack Obama's victory, is very inspirational, and it should be. Of course, it should be. You know, I always like to say this, and I know women have been fighting for rights, equality rights. We can say that fair, acknowledgement, maybe even to get ahead. But see, I never I'm one of them people, and I have a lot of barbershops. That's actually how the whole Holla-tics thing was created, man. I got tired of sitting in barbershops and listen to people make believe adversaries or antagonists. I got tired of people coming up with make believe antagonists, man. They. In the black community, we love to say that. They don't want to see you get ahead. They don't want to see me do this. Them people. And I always say, who are they? Who are they? Who are they? Last night I had in the news how Ronald Reagan, who's the flagship president for the Republican Party, he was almost assassinated. It was an attempt on his life. And so who are they? When you say they, I don't know who they is. So again, with the women situation, as women stretch and fight for equality and even advancement. Let's get past equality. Let's get to an advancement. You have to put a face on the antagonist. And so I would ask, who is the fight against? Now, I'm being messy when I say that. And I can be. I'm an American. You got to deal with me. I've been here 50 years, so deal with me. As a black American, a black male, middle age, I cannot say I've seen a clear example of dominance in my race coming from men. In other words, we don't have the power to hold back somebody's rights and equality. So I would ask, when women say, we're fighting for rights, we're fighting for equality, we're fighting for advancements, who are you fighting against? Put a face on your antagonist if you can. And that might be something you need to do in private, because some people just not as bold as others. We're Hollatics here. I would hope you are. But put a face on your antagonist. When you're fighting against the traditional role, and, you fighting for advancements. I remember Barack Obama's first policy was the Lilly Ledbetter bill, equal pay for women. I heard Damon from the Shark Tank speak about that today. He was saying because of equal pay issues in the workplace and COVID-19, a lot of women are just returning to the house. And so, because the corporate world has failed to, recognize the ability and talent of many women who are just as good as men, they're losing that talent due to COVID-19. And women are returning back home and taking, they're taking jobs they can work from home, and they're able to take care of their family at the same time. So it's almost a juggle between the traditional and the modern role right there. So I ask you, are women catching up, or are they leading? Are they catching up? Are we saying, all right, we getting equal rights, we want to be treated fairly? Or are we saying, we finna advance past that? And if that's true, should we as men follow? Should we alter our roles as well? Should we make changes as well? Now, I'm a Bible thumper. I think men should lead his family. So, but if your woman is more progressive and is advancing past you, then you have to posture yourself. What you gonna do about it? So as men who embrace the new female role, how should we respond to it? Should we compete and compare, co-lead and share the roles? And if so, will women reciprocate, or they just press harder? We want more. That ain't good enough. Holla-tics, y'all weigh in. course, I got to weigh in. So I know it's sticky. I would hope it would be more women, but y'all probably got y'all men goat rope right now. Got them goat rope saying, nah, you finna spend this check on me. You ain't got time to be weighing in tonight. Well, how about you weigh in with him, Mama? I need to hear from you and him on this. On the floor tonight, men's role in society. Are women catching up or leading the new frontier? And if so, should men follow as men who embrace the new female role? How should we respond to it? Should we compete and compare, co-lead and share the role? And will women reciprocate this, or will they even press harder for more? Holla-tics Gabe say, I believe we should follow and co-lead in certain areas. The men is still the head, but a lot of women will take that power and be the head because some women love being in control about everything. I think men shouldn't be in competition. They have earned the role they are in, especially in today's time. If men are scared or afraid of women being in these new roles, the man has some insecurity. He has to work on him. The man has some insecurity he has to work on. They're catching up and surpassing the male at the pivotal moment in today's society. My wife is very strong and ambitious individual. I'm not in competition with her, but instead she inspires me to be better in business and being a better individual overall. That is Holla-tics Gabe Robinson weighing in. Gabe, I'm much like you. I'm married to a power girl, man. So I feel you. My wife is very strong. She is ambitious in her own way, yet in ways she's very humble. I think my wife, I won't say she have a perfect balance, because sometimes I have to, not physical, but I have to, my wife, one of them women, if you don't take steering wheel, she darn sure will take it out of your hand. But just like you, Gabe, I appreciate that in my wife. I am not insecure. I've not always been this way, But my wife has not always been the woman she is. So we grew, and I learned how to accept the power girl as, she's my first team member. So why would I compete against that? However, I have not weighed in, Gabe, so I will challenge you a little bit on this one. I think we see eye to eye, but I will throw some S in the game. Salt, I mean. Y'all watch y'all mouths. So, Holla-tics y'all weigh in. Tonight on the floor is men's role in society. It's under the scope, man. Kamala Harris's days for being VP setting a new precedence for women. Women roles are changing from traditional, fit the modern day livelihood. Are women catching up or leading the new frontier? And if they leading, should men follow? Do we need to change too? As men who embrace the new female role, how should we respond to it? Compete and compare? Co-lead? Share the role? And will women reciprocate or press harder for more? Inquiry minds want to know. Hollatics want to know. You're just tuning in to the Holla-tics Live Interactive Podcast. Now, I got a complex weigh-in. So I think I need to start it right now so I won't overrun my time. Let's digress each one of these, man. Are women catching up or leading the new frontier, and should men follow? I think it's a little bit of both. I think up until this point, no women have not been treated equally, fairly. But again, we have to identify the face of the antagonist. As a man, I cannot take blame for that because I cannot pinpoint a time in my life as a 50-year-old man that I had the power to withhold someone's right. And when I look to the right and left and see other men, who look like me, if you know what I mean, I can't say they had power to withhold somebody's rights. So you got to put a face on the antagonist before you try to answer that question if you're a female, because it may not be a gender issue more so than it is some other type of issue. I'm just saying, I don't know. But I do think in order to accurately attack an issue, you have to be specific on what the issue is. Now, are the women catching up or leading the role? I think it's a little bit of both. I think, a huge step for women to see, a VP become, a female become VP. And on top of that, a woman of color. We say black woman. Yeah, I think her daddy was Jamaican, her mother was Indian. Let's say woman of color, because I'm kind of biased about the black thing. Some of us are descendants of slaves, and that shouldn't matter. It's still an accomplishment by her. But again, I am into specifics. I'm that guy that could be a butthole sometime when you talk to him, because I like to pinpoint things. And so I think that was a huge leap for Kamala Harris to become VP. It was a huge feather in the cap of women. It was actually taking lead. It was a leadership thing. In that aspect, I could say women are leading the frontier to a certain degree. And as men, we have to change too. We are the God-given leaders, I believe. Not that we dominant, but I think, I think God created men to lead. And if you have an issue or you say, nah, Raz, I don't believe that. If you're female and you take issue with that, then let's line up 1 million of y'all with AK rifles the next time we go to war. Because you can do that with men and nobody feel like it's an issue. Nobody feel like any wrong being done. But the next time we in war, we put 1 million women out there first with AKs. We gonna be looked at crazy. So there are specific issues or specific roles where I believe men have to take leadership. And I believe men have to be lead in certain places. Not to dominate, but to take leadership in. So I believe we have to follow men. And as men, how do we embrace, the women that are new, leading the new movement? How do we embrace it? Now, again, this is a complex answer from me. Because I think any man can tell you, and men will agree to this, there are rules to engagement. There are rules in engagement. Even when a man doesn't like another man, we still play by certain rules. I've seen women conversations and men conversations. And women can go there with each other. I've seen women be you this and be you that. And I'm like, ooh. And women will kind of laugh about it and play. And then, they'll go through all kinds of whole lot of changes before it actually get physical. Most men, if you call him the B word, that is ebonics for let's stop talking and let's throw some blows. So there are rules of engagement when it comes to men that we honor amongst ourselves. So now that we have women edging up taking leadership roles, should we change that? I, for one, do not believe that. So compete and compare sometimes. Meaning if I am going for a position and the candidate on the side of me, he said them fighting words, huh? That's real. If I'm going for a specific position and it's a candidate on the side of me and she happens to be a female, I don't want to co-lead and share the role. I'm going to compete and compare. I'm going to say how much better I can do the job. I'm going to say I'm a better candidate. I'm not going to make it a sexist thing, but just because she's a woman, I'm not going to change the rules of engagement. If it was another guy there, I would treat him the same way. And so it depends. Do we compete and compare, co-lead, or share the role? It depends on the rules of engagement. What are we actually doing? I don't think because she wears a skirt, if we going at a position or we're going towards an activity or a role that is rigorous or competitive, that I should lighten up and say, oh, it's a woman, let's co-lead, let's share. I don't want to split a paycheck with you. So if I have to compete and compare, I'm going to do that. And women, again, women can be more ruthless than dudes. So dudes, man, do not let the smiles and the curly hair, and you know the way they do the little foot cricket. You know how the women, when they do their little foot cricket. Don't let that junk fool you, bro. Because women can be vicious, man. They could be vicious. And, you know, so it depends on the rules of engagement. If I compete and compare, co-lead, or share the role. It depends on what we're doing. The rules of engagement. If it's the family, I'm not going to compare, you know, in the family. My house is funny. I'm the best cook at the house. I'm the guy that hangs the pictures, you know. Me and my wife, we both clean, but I'm the perfectionist. I'm the guy that's going to make sure the couch is directly straight with the hard lines in the living room and all that stuff. I'm that guy, you know. So in that aspect, I will co-lead and share roles. But again, it depends on the rules of engagement. When we squaring off, me and the female, what are we trying to accomplish? That determines whether I co-lead, share the role, compete, or compare. And will women reciprocate? That is something I cannot answer. He said, that's me all day too, huh? That is something I cannot answer. Will women reciprocate? I don't know. I'm not a woman. I don't have a woman's mentality. If you ask me, they press and go hard. They want more. If I had to choose between the two answers, I believe women will press hard and go more and want more. They should, you know. And to me, if you're a man and you're whining about a woman going harder than you, well, I say we have to investigate it. I won't say you're a wuss. That's too much of a blanket response. It could be unfair, right? If you walk into a boardroom and it's 8, 9 members of the board and 7 of them are women and 2 of them are men, and you don't feel like you got a fair shake at the job, then it could be some foul play going on. It could be some discrimination going on. And so if a man cries out, you know, in them instances, you know, he may not be wrong. I'm not one to believe every time somebody whines about a disadvantage, it's an opportunity to say, oh, shut up and put your big boy pants on. Sometimes when people cry disadvantage, you have to investigate it. But women can be ruthless as men. I told my wife this the other day, and this is an ongoing conversation I have with people. I say, when you look at races, if you ever look at the male, a female is only a female male or man. A woman is only a female man, and a man is a male man. Man is the animal, the male man and the female man. 2 different species. So when you're looking at races, when you look at a man, the female is very similar to that guy, just prettier, more curves, longer hair. If you don't believe me, look at races. You look at black men, and you say, boy, these black men can be thuggish. Trust me, the woman with the dress on the side of him, she just curvy and pretty. But there's a female thug inside of her as well. I can speak on black people. I don't mind picking on them because that's my race. But I've noticed this amongst other races. The leading characteristic within that race when you spot it in a man, although the female is smiling and saying nice stuff to you, trust that same thing is inside of her because she's just a female man, you know. So when it comes to pressing, going hard and competing, even being cutthroat and gutter, trust, it is in the women too. So will women reciprocate? I would hope so. Or press and go harder? I definitely know they would press and go harder. Would they reciprocate? I would hope and believe so. I'm not sure. Again, this is a sore spot. This is a touchy spot for me because, you know, I don't feel like as a black man, I've had the power to withhold anybody's rights or equality. So when women say we're fighting for equal rights, we're fighting for equality, the first thing I would have to ask, or I ask myself is, so who is the antagonist? Because it's definitely not me and probably these three dudes that came with me. Just something to make you say, But tonight on the floor, Hollatics 42. Male's role in society. Kamala Harris's days from being vice president setting a new precedent for women. Women roles are changing from traditional to fit the modern day livelihood. Are women catching up or leading a new frontier? And should men follow? As men who embrace the new female role, how should we respond to it? Compete and compare, co-lead and shadow role. And will women reciprocate or press harder? Again, my professional politician weigh in. I think it's a little bit of catching up and leading. Should we compete and compare? Sometimes. Depends on the rules of engagement. Should we co-lead and shadow role? Sometimes. Don't get the two mixed up. If it's a woman gunning for your job, you don't be talking about co-leading. You pull out your skills and say, mine is bigger than hers. So I think y'all should hire me. Whatever that bigger is. And women, will they reciprocate or go harder? I know they will go harder. Will they reciprocate? Women, you have to show me. I'm looking. I'm trying to find the compassion in all of this. Hollatics, we are on our way out. Just as we always do, man. Have a great weekend. I'm gonna miss you guys over the weekend. I had flirted with the opportunity to finish your breakfast on Saturday mornings, but sometime I wake up on Saturday morning and I look at my wife and I'm like, nah, I'm not finna touch no computer right now. So, Hollatics, I will see you guys on Monday, man. Share the show. Download the audio podcast. Tell people about it. Tune in, weigh in. Remember, this is an interactive podcast. Of course, I can sit here and run my mouth all day, but I like to see what y'all got to say. I don't like to come up with hypotheticals like my dude Bug said yesterday. I like bringing issues to real life, me and you, choices we both have to make. And so I am here every night from weekdays, 7:30 to 8:30. We do this, man. This is the Holla-tics Live Interactive Podcast. I am Rash, your host, cheap politician, narrator, orator, saying, have a great weekend. Listen, if God has put it in your power and given you the opportunity to change somebody's life, he didn't do it haphazardly. He did that for a reason. He wants you to take it. And as my man Pickle Juice would say, quoted by the Reverend Ike, walk with the king and be a blessing in all things. Hollatics, I will see you guys on Monday, man. Y'all have a blessed weekend. And please, 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 y'all love on somebody. We out.